5 expressions in which you look pretty. तो अगर आपको ad में रोना भी है, you have to look pretty and cry. 5 second वाली acting, it's just yeah, because everything is about the look, yeah, about your body. I really respect the people who still in it. And at that time also there were a lot of models who were getting into acting, right? If you look at whether it's Sushmita or Aishwarya Rai or a lot of Miss Indias and all into acting. It was through like a lot of like Bipasha, John, all of them. They were all in fact Glad Rags models. The first commercial big film that I did was Jodha Akbar. With Ashutosh Gowarkar. At that time वो सबसे बड़ी फिल्म थी, like in terms of that song with the number of अभी तो काफी songs इतने बड़े-बड़े होते हैं
जो लोग एक्ट कर रहे होते तो sometimes they feel ignored.
In which the director didn't even bother to come and on my first date.
As Kusha is an influencer, and from being an influencer to Bollywood.
In fact, there was a time when the casting specification said, I'm an influencer चाहिए. Like, what is that? What is your character? What is your personality? I was talking to a casting director.
Big Boss भी देखो तो Big Boss has changed. Like
it's a new profession. मम्मा मुझे influencer बनना है.
Right, there are a lot of memes coming on that.
Doctor नहीं, engineer, मुझे influencer बनना है.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Be Podcaster. In this episode, we have Mrs. Dilnaz Irani, a beautiful actress as well as a seasoned theatre artist with us. आज के इस एपिसोड में हमने बहुत सारी बातें करी हैं about how this industry actually works, behind the scenes of a lot of movies, and her journey from being an engineer to an actress. After watching the full episode, do let me know that what do you think about this episode in the comment section. Hi Dilnaz, welcome to Be Podcaster.
Thank you, Shambhavi, for having me.
How are you?
I'm cold.
Okay, so
मुंबई वाले को बहुत ठंडी लगती है यार दिल्ली में, but right now it's okay. I'm cozy, comfy, lights के साथ. It's nice.
Perfect. So before we start the complete conversation, so let's talk about a bit of your previous journey, like before starting into acting career.
Sure.
What you were doing and what was your, thought of yourself and everything. So if you can talk about it.
Before I started, in fact, during when I initially started only, I'm actually an electronic engineer by profession. I was software engineer I used to work as. So before acting fully took off, I was in that. I think I always wanted to be an actor.
Can do anything.
I always wanted to be an actor. But mummy papa like, nahi bhai, acting nahi kar sakte ho. Acting are for people who are not good at studies.
Right.
And you are very good. You're a 90% student. Why do you want to waste yourself in acting? Come on, insecure profession and all of that. So yeah, I did my science, did my engineering. And then along with that, I also started acting. And then I was a Glad Rags model. And that also I was like, nahi, acting ही करनी है. And then one fine day I said, मैं 1 साल का sabbatical ले रही हूँ. Then I'll join back if I have to. Then 1 year has become now, I don't know how many, 15 years. And I'm not even, in fact, abhi if you bring a computer in front of me or any electronic technical things, I'm like, ले जाओ यार, नहीं चाहिए मुझे.
Okay, so as you said that earlier you did modeling as well.
Yeah.
So how different it is, like if it comes to modeling and acting, so what would you prefer more? Absolutely acting, that's what you're doing.
Sure.
But what's the basic difference which you feel that because of that you chose acting over modeling?
I mean, it's not that I don't do. I still do act films. So if you call that modeling, But at that point of time, I used to walk the ramp. I used to do a lot of still, pictures and all of that also. It's too oriented on the way you look. Because that's all there is, right? And if you're a good actor, even right now, it's very difficult to give 5 expressions in which you look pretty. तो अगर आपको ad में रोना भी है, you have to look pretty and cry. गुस्सा भी होना है, you have to look pretty and so वो 5 second वाली acting, it's just not satisfying. And then because everything is about the look, about your body, about what you're wearing, about what your nail polish, this color, that color. And for me, I'm like, it's too superficial a world for me to be in, with all due respect to people who do it. Like, I really respect the people who still in it and who, have stuck around in it. But it's very difficult. At least for me, it was very difficult. I feel there has to be more to a person than just the way they look or the way they dress or the way they present themselves, you know.
True.
And I got bored. Then I got very bored in modeling. So I was like,
So that's why you thought,
yeah.
okay,
And
let's
at that
do
time
that.
also there were a lot of models who were getting into acting, right? If you look at whether it's Sushmita or Aishwarya Rai or a lot of Miss
Right.
Indias and all who, ultimately got into modeling.
Right.
So for a lot of people, it was also a way to get into acting.
Acting.
Was through like a lot of like Bipasha, John, all of them. They were all in fact
Everyone
Glad
was
Rags
sort of-
models only.
Right.
Bipasha, John, and all. So yeah, but then and I was like,
Perfect.
"Bas, ho gaya."
So how did you landed your first acting project?
So I used to take these drama classes when
Okay.
I was in school itself, and speech and drama vagera. And I think the first play they approached they wanted a young girl.
True.
I was 15 years old at that time, and they approached, you know, saying that you all teach young people. So then I went there, I auditioned, I read. And I think that first play happened, and after that there was no stopping, yeah.
Okay.
After the first, second, I mean, then word of mouth, then people see you in this and want to cast you in that. So I've been lucky, touch wood,
True.
that in theatre I've never had a gap or where there's been no work for me in theatre. And right now, I think I was just talking to someone, I've done 54, 55 different
Shows,
plays, different
plays, yeah.
productions. So shows, though, I must have done in thousands,
Right.
but different plays and different people that I've
And
worked.
अगर मूवी की बात करें तो which was your first and how did you got that first movie?
So my first movie is when I was a kid. It was a British film called
Okay.
Sixth Happiness.
Okay.
उसमें बहुत छोटू सा role था. It was based on this British guy who comes to India. So I was a young kid at that time, you know, I didn't know anything about anything. So that was my first film, like,
Okay.
you know, when I was a kid. But after that, there was Sridhar Raghavan ke saath, there was, I forgot the film. I forgot. You see, this is old age memory.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not old. It's just a number in your
Yeah.
mind. And then, that was a smaller film. That was not a proper commercial film. And the first commercial big film that I did was Jodha Akbar
Yeah.
with Ashutosh Gowarikar.
Right.
And it was a great experience.
So what was the behind the scenes experience?
In Jodha Akbar, I had a great time. Yeah, it was a huge learning experience, and I
Right.
was lucky to. At that time, वो सबसे बड़ी film थी, you know,
Jodha Akbar
like,
तो
you
is
know, in
already
terms
a
of that
big name.
song with the number of. अभी तो काफी songs इतने बड़े बड़े होते हैं,
Right.
पर in 2008 when it was getting made, you know, that scale on which that film was, you know, with names like Aishwarya and Hrithik and Ashutosh Gowarikar, A.R. Rahman. So it was a great experience. I enjoyed working with Ashu sir. And also because he also is an actor. So, you know, he understands so much better than he was
Right.
brilliant, and he was kind, and he was intelligent, and he knew each person. He would understand the person, and then he would direct each person differently. Like, you know, he figured that I was an actor. लाइन शायद मुझे एक ही बोलनी है, पर आई लाइक टू नो द बैक स्टोरी एंड बैकग्राउंड.
Absolutely.
सो मुझे वो एक्सप्लेन करते थे वैसे. And there was another actor, he would just say, हाँ ये बोल दे. So, you know, he understands each person, each actor, each personality, and he
Right.
directs each of them so differently, so individually. And I learnt a lot, yeah. And the atmosphere on the set, and, you know, even though it was such a huge set with so many
Right.
extras and dancers and actor, everybody,
It was already a huge film.
he would still take that personal interest in everybody. And I think that's great, yeah, to have as a director, you know. Or else, you know, when you have big stars and you're playing a small role, you kind of tend to feel ignored sometimes. You just feel like मैं तो कुछ कर ही नहीं रही हूँ, you know. But he would see to it that doesn't happen, you know. And I think that's so great, to make your actor feel comfortable, to make your actor feel secure, to make your actor feel important.
So is there like any experience where you felt, जो अभी आपने कहा कि sometimes होता है कि जो stars होते हैं उनके अलावा जो लोग काम करते हैं, जो लोग act कर रहे होते हैं, तो sometimes they feel ignored. So is there any experience where you encountered that?
I mean, yeah, I did. I don't want to take names, but there
Yeah,
are big films that I've done after that, in which the director didn't even bother to come in on my first day. Didn't even bother to come. I mean, forget meeting before the shoot.
So even
Didn't
on the
meet, yeah, just audition,
show,
dekha,
yeah.
come on the first day of shoot. Also, it's not that he came, met, or been the vanity or
Right.
nothing like that. Like I went directly on set, not having met my director. And it's okay. I'm a professional. I did my job, and then he was happy with it. So then he started chatting,
Right.
you know. But
वो कहते हैं ना काम बोलता है तो once you started working on
yeah,
that,
I mean
so
it's sad, but that's the truth of it. And I'm like, ठीक है now, one is used
right.
to.
And when you did Sukhi,
Huh.
the recent movie,
Huh.
so it was a fabulous one.
Thank you.
I watched that, and it was too good.
Thank you.
So how did you like? If we'll talk about your experience about that particular movie, about the shoots, about the behind the scenes experiences, so how was that? Working
This
with
was
Shilpa
Sonal's
Shetty.
first film,
Yeah.
the director. She, I think, was Imtiaz Ali's associate for a very long time. And this was her first film
Okay.
that Abundance she did with Abundancia. And she was lovely, yaar. The first meeting I had with her, like she actually auditioned to casting director se mil gaya.
Right.
But then she met me, you know, and I feel that's so important to get to know your actors, where they come from. And for me, it was so important to know her psyche. I think हमारी पहली जो meeting थी वो 2 घंटे की meeting थी.
Okay.
We were just sitting and chatting, and she got to know me, I got to know her. And you know, when I went only, I decided, you know, I told my manager ke role mile ya mile, I don't know, but it was a great meeting. And whatever the role ultimately turns out, because sometimes you have a star movie and you realize that आपका role
Right.
कट जाता है, whatever it is.
Sometimes
But
it
nothing
happens.
happened like that in Sukhi.
Yeah.
But आपको डर लगता है. And I was like, जो भी हो, छोटा role, बड़ा role, I want to do it because I like the director.
But yeah, the bond between you,
All of us,
yeah,
sure.
principal, sure. It was fabulous.
Yeah, and
So
we
how
all
was your-
got along. Yeah, Kusha is, you
Yeah.
know, interesting. Shilpa Shetty is also lovely to work with,
Yes.
and Pavleen, who's from Delhi. So we really got along, and I think it showed.
There.
You know, it showed on screen, and I'm so glad that it all kind of fit perfectly. And you know, the way Sonal looked at it, the way she took out our individual characters also was
So
interesting.
now getting into movie is something like if, as Kusha is a influencer,
Yeah.
and from being an influencer to Bollywood,
Yeah, yeah.
so this is also a kind of way which people are taking these days,
this
right?
is a new route that, in fact, there was a time when, in fact, a couple of years back only, that every movie wanted an the casting specification said, हमें influencer चाहिए. And I'm like, what is that? What is your character? What is your personality? I was talking to a casting director, and like I gave an audition and I was shortlisted for another film, and I was one of I think that 2 people shortlisted or whatever. And
Right.
I'm like, and it didn't happen for me. And I'm like, what happened? You know, then last they wanted an influencer. I'm like, वो क्या चीज़ है? Why I want an influencer? Like, how does that even work? And in
Right.
fact, there was another web show that I was doing with Vikram Bhatt,
Okay.
and Anupam was directing. It was called
Okay.
Twisted 2.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen that.
right, and there was a one, and the one was a big hit with Nia and Rahul
Right.
and all of that. And there was a new big interesting lead character when he introduced in 2. So Anupam told me, he's like, Dilnaz, I had to really fight for you. That time I was not even on Instagram. I was
Right.
like, नहीं करना है यार, Facebook है क्या, बहुत हो गया, और क्या करे. And Anupam told me, he's like, Dilnaz, the OTTs are directly asking, भाई कितने followers है इसके.
Right.
And that's sad. That's really, really sad that that is how they are gauging you, or that is how, without seeing your talent. But Anupam's like, I really wanted you, and I liked your work, and I wanted you, so I had to really, really push for you. And then it was Vikram Bhatt, and they couldn't really say
True.
anything at the end of it. But yeah, this being an influencer, and some of them are good, like Kusha's great.
Right.
So it works, but not everyone is.
Everyone is not good, right?
good.
क्योंकि अभी आप Big Boss भी देखो तो Big Boss has changed. Like influencers are coming, जिनकी millions followers है और 100K followers.
It's a new profession. मम्मा मुझे influencer बनना है.
Right, there are a lot
Like,
of memes coming on that.
डॉक्टर नहीं, engineer, मुझे influencer बनना है.
And even that, like, let's suppose if 2050 or something, 2060 is there, so their mother and father, the kids, they're forcing them to be an influencer. जैसे अभी होता है कि नहीं आपको इंजीनियर बनना है, डॉक्टर बनना है, तो it's like कि आपको इन्फ्लुएंसर बनना है, तो that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that? Like, let's suppose अभी अगर हम कोविड से पहले की बात कर रहे हैं, तो जो ये ट्रेंड था, that was very less, but now it's
Yeah,
on a
it's
top
running, yeah.
thing. So what do you think? Ki, is it good way to get into the movie through directly being an influencer or something?
I don't think that, because I also come from a pure actor, like a
Right.
passionate actor who's worked at it. I've worked at my craft. I've done it. So sometimes it feels like, as an actor, I feel, yeah, this is not fair. Uh, but I feel, no, yeah, you do that influencer thing as a, it's like an
It's a
additional
personal thing,
thing,
yeah.
but first perfect your craft. First learn
Be a good
acting,
actor.
be good at it, learn it, join a course, do a whatever diploma, whatever you need to do, but learn the craft, yeah. Because I always feel that a good actor is a good actor is a good actor. That's it.
True.
It's good for the director, it's good for the team, it's good for your co-actors, and it's good for you. So learn your craft. If you want to be an actor, first learn that. Then, okay, you have an additional bonus that your followers are quite a few, and then that's an additional,
True.
plus point to it, yeah. But first, like, perfect your craft, perfect that.
So now, if I'll talk about cinema and theater, which both of it you're already
Uh-huh,
doing,
yeah.
so which one makes you more happy?
Theater. No wonder I've done 55 plays.
Right.
But yeah, I think my one, in fact, I think Atul Kumar, I was just once talking to him, and I was like, how much we love theater,
Right.
and theater needs good actors, and he said it's a two-way thing. We need theater as much as theater needs us.
True.
Because theater wouldn't be able to survive if we didn't have passionate, committed actors. That's the fact. But he's like, we need it for our sanity.
True.
And which is the fact. I wouldn't be able to survive if I didn't have my plays, the stage, for to sustain me, literally, like in terms of energy. I don't mean any other kind of monetary sustenance, kuch nahi. But yeah, just yeah.
Absolutely. अगर हम बात करें पहले like around 2006, 7, 8
जी.
टाइम पे and now in 2025 you're sitting. So सिनेमा में अभी क्या चेंज आई है आपके अकॉर्डिंग?
Cinema में क्या change? I mean, just the canvas of films being made is so much larger, right? Like Thousand Dancers is nothing now.
Right.
Like every film has that one song,
The big song.
the big,
Yeah.
like just the. And I feel now, though, in Bollywood, so many South films have really, like, the way they're growing, and so many people are watching, So I think I think अभी amalgamation वो बहुत हुआ है. लोग pan India जो बोलते हैं ना, like Punjabi actors, Bhojpuri actors doing Hindi, and
Right.
South Indian actors doing. And in fact, I've just done a Tamil web series.
Right.
I've done a Tamil film also right now. I just finished shooting for it.
So people are
I
adapting
think that all across the different states, taking a mix of, like Alia Bhatt was in that. It was like there's so many, like of
Yes,
these.
yes, yes. The industries are getting
the industries are kind of
yeah.
getting merged, and I think that's a great thing. Yeah.
And if I will talk about the payments, not exactly the numbers, but what was the payment terms like in previous, like during 2005, like early 2000, and now, how did it change?
See, for me, I don't know. For me, it's like at that time I was just starting, right?
Yeah.
So my payment would always be less.
Yeah.
Because also I was, and fair enough, I was new, I was inexperienced, I was starting off. And right now, when it comes for me with so many years of experience, there's a particular payment that one asks for.
Right.
My manager asks for, because I'm terrible at it.
That's why you have kept already the manager, no?
Thank
That can
really to really handle all this. But yeah, and the monies that we talk about now are just. I mean, forget me. Mine are still not that big, but I mean, the superstars and all is just a different life only. I think
True.
different, absolutely different, and even the scale at which films getting made, the number of. पहले तो 100 crore film was a big thing, no? अभी
Right.
100 crore
अब तो-
film क्या है? हर दूसरी film 100 crore की film है. तो like
Do you think OTT has changed the way we look at movies?
Yes, I think it has, and it has its advantages and disadvantages. But just the amount of content that is available, I'm not talking about currently there's a little bit of a dip in the market,
Right.
but I'm talking about, let's say, 3 years back, 4 years back, 5 years back, lockdown, vagera also. And yeah, I feel it's interesting because cinema people, like filmmakers whose films used to release only in
Theaters,
theaters,
yeah.
I feel that it's put them on their toes. कि भैया आप अगर नहीं दोगे full, तो people will not come watch. They'll be watching OTT content.
Right.
Because there's some great content. There's some terrible content also, but there's some great content. So I feel it's a good thing because it's keeping filmmakers on their toes. That we have to engage our audience, or they'll be sitting at home. And why not? They'll be sitting at home watching better content.
True.
So it is definitely given a strict, like a real, hard competition to them.
As you said that there is a dip in the industry, right? We do not have that much of good content
Yeah,
to
right
watch,
now.
even if in theaters, even on
Yeah, even on
OTTs,
OTTs, yeah.
we do not have that much
Yeah.
content, like good content in terms of. So, what do you think is the basic reason behind that?
I don't know, Shambhavi, honestly, when I'm trying to figure out, because I've shot for 3 web series and really interesting roles in the last 2 years, and they've still not released. And even though some OTTs have, like one of them on OTT has bought it, but they've still not released, so one doesn't know what it is. I don't know why there is a dip. I mean, maybe it's a financial thing or whatever. I wouldn't know from the producer's point of view. But yeah, since the last 2 years, budgets have been suddenly slashed. Like the same ads or the same OTT budgets, which was so huge just after COVID, have suddenly, like, they're quoting a, like, like there's so many projects that my manager has said no because the budgets have been really bad. And she's like, Dilnaz, please don't do it. Let's wait for something which has a good budget and a good, interesting role. Because as an actor, I want to do everything. I want to do every role
True.
that comes, So I don't know. In fact, I've heard of so many like shows ready for release, and
But still, it's not
I
getting
mean, it
released.
could be the takeover which has happened. Then I think Netflix has changed its stuff. I think the Hotstar Geo takeover. I think everything. So, in fact, even the calls that one is coming for new things also are really, really dipped. So, let's just hope that it kind of picks
Absolutely.
up, and
It will go back on the track, and
yeah.
I'm sure all the 3 web series will come on. the
I hope
OTTs
so, and I hope
hopefully-
new ones also.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so who is your favorite co-star?
Mat pulwao, yeah.
Nahi,
The other
tum
ones
bata.
will feel bad.
नहीं, एक
A
तो बताइए
lot, yeah. Like I also co-star, like different in films is different in theater.
जरूर. Okay, in
one has
theater, who
worked-
is your favorite
I
co-star?
don't know. There are
No?
lots of.
Okay,
I've worked
at
with
least give me one name.
And I genuinely अभी सोच रही हूँ ये प्ले जिसके लिए मैं दिल्ली आई हूँ उसके कास्ट का किसी का नाम बताओ.
तो पहले वाले
या पहले
अच्छा
वाले.
बोला नहीं उन्होंने.
I mean, see, I'm a person who I get along with people. I don't have issues mostly unless someone's really being mean to me, or then it's different things. So I'm easy to get along with.
So, which character you loved doing till now? Which one is your favorite character
On screen.
of your on screen?
On screen, I think I really enjoyed doing Shefali Gupta in Arya. I was in Arya season
Right.
2. I don't know if it's about the character or I also enjoyed working with Ram Madhwani. I think it was a mix of both. It was a nice, interesting, sorry. It was a nice, interesting, strong character. And in addition to that, his process of working, making the character your own was very interesting for me. Like, I really, really enjoyed working on Arya
True.
too. Yeah.
And how was it working with Susmita Sen?
She's a star. She's a true star. Like she walks into a room and star has come. Like her persona that she carries, like it's just like so much to learn from her. That confidence, that it's like wow. So it was and I think for me, it was really working with Ram which made the difference. Like, he's so interesting. In fact, he gives you, there's a script, but when he's doing a scene, he says, I don't want you to follow the script at all. You cannot. I will stop the scene midway if you follow the script. So before shooting, his ADs come and tell you, ma'am, ye scene mein se, these are the 5 points which need to come out.
Okay.
But you're not allowed to, stick to the lines of the scene. And,
So do you think that sticking to the lines would impact maybe on a negative side that
It
you're
depends.
more
Sometimes
focused
it's
on?
good because
Yeah.
I love words. So even in the theater that I do a little bit of physical theater, but most of my theater is very wordy, you know. So I'm someone who loves learning lines. So I always came from that background. But sometimes, yeah, the structure restricts you. So I think it's a interesting combination where the director lets you go, but he says these are the things which need to come out, and at the same time when he also controls you. So and with Ram, though he throws googlies on set, means he'll introduce a character in the scene that you have no idea the character was never there in the scene.
And suddenly
And
it's there
suddenly,
now.
like I was doing my first scene, my first shot, and it's a multi-camera setup, and I'm walking with someone, the Inspector Khan in the show, and there's a lady coming who in the doctor's coat, and I'm like, this was not there. But that's luckily I'd heard about Ram throwing googlies, and he wants to, and everybody's capturing you, so he wants to see how you're improvised. He wants to see how well you've lived your character, because if
Right.
you've lived your character well, then you'll be able to just improvise, and that's so challenging for an actor because sometimes we just stick to
That quality, yeah.
ye jo hai. So it kind of throws a whole new dimension, so yeah, so I feel a script sometimes restricts you, but sometimes structure's good in life also, no?
True.
Like it's that middle where we're talking
Absolutely.
about, yeah.
So tell me something which nobody knows about you.
Okay. My husband and me, we've decided we don't want children and all
Okay.
that. But lately, last week, we had to take care of my brother's puppy.
Okay. So puppy is a
And-
big child actually.
It was like a child only, yaar. And a child who felt sick. So she was vomiting for 2 days, and the guilt, the responsibility, कुछ ज़्यादा ही खिला दिया हमने उसको. अरे पपीज़ को ये नहीं खाना चाहिए, घी नहीं खाना चाहिए, पनीर नहीं खाना चाहिए, हमने खिला दिया. And vomiting means in 2 days she did some 25 vomits. So my house help is telling me, दीदी आपने घर का इतना काम कभी नहीं किया होगा, because both of us are sitting, Colin, Lysol, like every 10 minutes we are doing pocha, and it was a big thing. And with our lives that we lead, I'm running for rehearsal, he's running for rehearsal, and this, that, it was, and we decided we can't take care of another living being. नहीं होता है. After 1 week, I was like, भाई तू ले जा. नहीं हो रहा है.
Right.
So I think, yeah, nobody knows that we both are so bad at taking care of another living being.
Absolutely. But okay. So when it comes to personal life, so how do you manage? Like both of you are working.
In the industry,
He's
yeah.
also
He's a
in the industry
musician.
only.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you manage your work life and personal life altogether?
We have to consciously make time for each other. So sometimes we have to schedule things such that, that we both have that free time.
Okay.
So like, I'm like, nahi yaar, sham ko mat kar, subah kar le, if possible. So that at least evening we can spend time watching content, chilling, having a glass of wine, having some pizza once in a week or a couple of weeks. So we have to consciously be aware, but yeah, koi baar to nahi hota hai. Like, when I'm traveling from show to show to show, or with rehearsals or shoot.
So do you go on holidays together?
Yes. My husband thinks I have too many holidays. That's not the case. I feel एक दो holiday तो होनी चाहिए ना साल
Absolutely,
में
होनी
to
चाहिए,
get
बिल्कुल होनी
yourself away from this hectic life. But he thinks that I holiday too much. So
And what about your holidays together? Like
yeah, we
together
take
plans?
holidays together.
Okay.
So far we've taken holidays together. Since we've met each other, we've taken
who
holidays.
plans it?
I plan it. Nothing. He's useless. I ask him to plan. I ask him to decide also. I'll be like, okay, choose now. 1, 2, 3 में से कौन? And then he gets all stressed out. And I'm like, it's not that stressful. You just have to help me decide. पूरा research तो मैं करती हूँ. And the one who enjoys on the holiday is him.
Oh,
He will whine
that's
and
why
say,
actually he's
"बहुत
not taking care of
yeah."
it, so that at least he can enjoy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so he'll have to take care of everything.
Yeah, some
so he'll be stressed on that only. Okay, I need to manage this. I need to manage that.
Yeah.
So that's why he left it on you.
So responsibilities on me. Complaining is
enjoyment on
him, and then enjoyment on the holiday is him.
Perfect.
So yeah,
That's how a perfect couple meets.
I don't know about that. Don't let him hear this.
Okay. But it's good actually. It's a good strategy, to
Sometimes
keep
I have to
themselves
really
free.
Yeah, sometimes I have to really push him, saying that no, we need to take this break.
Okay.
It is a break, and he's from Calcutta. So he thinks that going to visit Calcutta once in a year is a holiday. I'm like, ye holiday nahi ho sakti. This is, you are
That's
going
a family
home.
time.
That's family time. This is
Right.
not a holiday. That's not
family
fair.
time can't be the holiday.
Exactly. You can't consider this as a holiday, you know. So then again, he'll be like, okay.
Absolutely. So tell me one thing. So as your family was not not inclined towards you to get into acting,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So now, as you already spent it more than 2 decades now, if I can say. So more than 2 decades you have already into the industry. So what's their take now?
Oh, now they love it.
Oh.
I mean, see, now also they love it when there'll be an article about me or when there'll be an interview and I'll send them the link and then they'll feel all proud and all. Ha, hamari beti kar rahi hai. But still, there are
How
days
did
when
they
they
accepted
meet.
that change?
I think it's just still there are days, but when they say that अरे उसका बेटा तो देखो, उसकी बेटी तो देखो abroad जाके गाड़ी है, घर है, you know,
So
and
still,
we are
like-
still वो तो आएगा. Are you sure? I'm like, now you can't tell me, yaar, are you sure about this career? Like at this time, I've spent too much and I've, you know, into it, my time, my life, my hard work, you know. So still there will be doubts.
मुझे
in
लगा
their
था
mind.
करियर के स्टार्टिंग में ही सुनना पड़ता है.
नहीं नहीं
नहीं?
नहीं हमेशा सुनना पड़ता है. Sometimes when there's a dip, no, या कुछ आर्टिकल नहीं आया है या कुछ, you know, or I haven't called them for my shows and वो standing ovation they haven't seen कि हाँ उनकी बेटी तो स्टार है स्टेज पे. जब वो आते हैं और देखते हैं and then, you know, sometimes, you know, after the show when people come and meet you and greet you and then I can see that they're feeling proud. Or even like when Sukhi released and I took them to the theater and then a lot of people were like, ma'am आपके साथ photo खींचना and all of them, and they come from a normal middle class, you know, mom's a teacher, dad has a small business, you know, so they don't know this. And I could see, in fact, it was so embarrassing. Once to my dad, after one show, he's like, see, you see her on screen, she's her. And I was like, Daddy, please, ऐसा मत करो.
But now at least he is proud.
So now,
how
yeah.
do they take the negative? Like, see, हर पॉजिटिव चीज़ों के साथ कुछ ना कुछ नेगेटिव तो आता ही है, राइट? यू मस्ट हैव ऑल्सो सीन अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स.
Yeah, yeah.
तो जब नेगेटिव चीज़ें होती है तो हाउ डू दे टेक केयर ऑफ दैट?
I take care of that. They don't. And fair enough, it's not their responsibility to. I'm not a child any longer, so I have to manage. And yes, as I said, sometimes when there's no work, and if that is what you depend on for your rosy roti, there are days or months sometimes when you're like, God, what? And I don't do, you know, like people who do a TV show have a constant income coming in, you know, and I do a lot of theatre, so does my husband. So there are some months which are like, oh my God, you know, it's difficult.
True.
And then I can't take some fancy holidays.
Absolutely.
So then at that time, or there's sometimes we have to think 10 times, you know, even the car that we bought is a second-hand car. And my brother's in a corporate. So sometimes it still comes, my parents are like, if you would have done this, you would have,
Achieved
you
that.
know. So yeah,
That's
I think
fine.
it's on a personal,
But it's
I
all
need to-
about how satisfied you are doing
absolutely.
what you are doing. So
I don't think I mean some of them do, but I don't think half the corporates who go to work every morning at
Absolutely.
9 o'clock enjoy going to it as we enjoy going to a rehearsal.
नहीं नहीं
Or
enjoy
as
तो
we
नहीं करते,
enjoy going
otherwise
to a
इतने
show.
corporate memes तो नहीं आ रहे होते, isn't it?
Right.
So yeah, I think there is
It's
a very
choice.
small.
It's a choice that one has made, that I'm willing to live my life like this.
Right.
Even now, sometimes I'm like, why am I doing so much of theatre when I know I can make money doing other things? I mean, other things in acting, right? And I can do ads, when I can do OTT, and I can do so much more of that. Why do I do so much theatre? But I realized that it's a choice that I've made, and I'm ready. I'm willing to live my life without the bada ghar pe bangla gaadi and all that. But as long as I'm happy at the end of it,
True.
with my basic
Is there any
needs.
dream role which you want to do?
Yeah, I'm greedy. I'm very greedy as an actor. So there's not. There are lots of interesting.
That's the main strength, I guess.
Yeah, there are lots of interesting roles
Okay.
that I want to do.
Okay, guide us through one
I
at
don't know.
least.
I don't. I mean, on screen, I feel my theatre roles are all have been interesting, and they're getting even more interesting now. Because also I'm doing a lot of two-actor plays. You know, there was Lungs with Kwasar Padamsi and NCPA, which was again a two-actor play. There was Jump,
Jump. It was
which was
also
again
two
two-actor, and that's so
actor.
much more challenging. You know, to keep the audience engaged for 90 minutes or whatever long it is. So on stage, I feel I've performed some great roles. So there's no I want to, you know, this role or whatever.
Okay.
But I think on screen, I wish I would get. I wish people would have more faith in me to give me the roles that I play on stage. If they would translate to similar roles on screen, and I don't even think actually faith ka sawal hai. I think it's just sometimes interesting role ke liye star chahiye. It's as simple as that, and that's the sad part.
Absolutely.
But I'm hoping that one day I reach that star
for
status
sure.
in which.
Okay. So, how do you think that acting has shaped you as a person?
It's made me a more sensitive person. Or maybe because I was always a sensitive person, I'm a good actor. I don't know. I don't know which came first. But I feel it's very important, the sensitivity. So, sometimes it's negative because you take everything
So personally.
so personally. But that kind of that emotional, being an emotional person helps me to be a good actor, because an actor needs to be in touch with all their emotions. So being that person helps me as an actor, and being that actor then helps me as
being a person.
being
Yeah.
that person, or even just observant person. I might not have been observant, but now when you're studying characters, you're observing people so much more than a normal person would be. So it's made me a more observant person. It's made me much more hardworking. I think. But also it depends on your personality. I know so many actors who are none of these things and who are also good. So it really.
So, your last show, which was on Jump in Delhi only.
Yeah.
So, it was on mental health.
Yes.
So, how do you take care of your mental health?
I go to a therapist,
Okay.
a lot of issues, and I feel that now it's okay to say that, because there was a time. I've just started. I also feel that I should have gone for therapy much earlier also. But I guess maybe it's a generation thing or what it is. At one point of time, when you say I would go for therapy, like, yeah, something's wrong with you or what? Like, it was a pagal, like, yeah, or Now, in today's day and age, it's fine. Everybody, I feel, goes to a therapy or a counselor or whatever it is, So yeah, and I'm sharing this. I've not shared this before, but I've just started taking some anti-anxiety medication because I realized I was getting very anxious for a while.
Okay.
So again, when I took that, and people still right now, people still are like, why do you need to take medication? Are you mad? You don't need to. It's your. And I'm like, nahi yaar. Like, sometimes you need certain things to help. It's like when you have a cold, when you have fever, you're going to take medication, right?
True.
Unless you have a completely different lifestyle in which you're like, apne aap chala jayega. Now, we don't, in cities, we don't lead that kind of life and that kind of food and all of that. Nahi hota. So you take a medication, malaria hai to aap loge na, quinine. Or
Absolutely.
So it's like that. The brain is like any other organ. Why do we treat it so differently?
That's what in Dear Zindagi movie Shahrukh Khan said. कि हाथ में चोट आती है, बुखार लगता है, everyone runs to the doctor, but when it's come to mental health,
why is
nobody
it
wants
such
to
a therapy, medication? It's fine. आप लेते हो, you take it, you go with a doctor, you ask on your own. Yes, you don't take anything, but it's just so I feel mental health is very important. I'm so glad that now plays and films have been made on it. People are talking about it. It's not such a taboo topic any longer. So yeah, I feel that's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Shambhavi.
I'm sure you must have enjoyed.
Yes, I
Let
had
me know
a
if you
great
heard.
chat. No, I had a great chat, and I'm so glad it's so casual and so nice.
Yeah. So thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.